Welcome to the Bearded Bama Bushcrafter. I'm down at the shelter today. The last few times that I have been down here and was working on getting my stove up and running, I noticed that it wasn't working properly. The flue, the pipe, whatever you want to call it, it wasn't heating up proper. And although I do get some smoke in here, I was getting a lot of smoke. Man, I mean, it was a lot of smoke. And I got to thinking, I wonder what's going on. And my son and I were talking about it this morning as I was cleaning out the stovepipe. It's burning a lot better now and heating up properly. I've had this stove, I guess, 3 years now, and when I installed it, we were talking about that when I was putting the pipe on. My oldest son said that was one of those I was holding the flashlight moments, and some of you may get that, some of you may not, but it's kind of a joke, meaning your feelings don't get hurt that bad if or that easy if you've ever had to hold a flashlight for your dad. And it says a lot too. You're holding the flashlight for your dad and you're hearing a lot of cussing, you're getting yelled at because you're not doing it right, no matter no matter what you do. But anyway, he said he remembered me putting this stovepipe on, and it was one of those I was holding the flashlight for my dad moments. But I got it cleaned out. The stovepipe was just about clogged, and I really hadn't thought much on that until this year when the pipe wasn't doing like it should be doing. Now it's heating up, and it is burning. Very little smoke in the shelter. It was about that much, if any. Some of it was completely clogged, I think, and there's very little smoke going out the top. So I got that cleared out, and now it is heating up. It's about 38 degrees here this afternoon. Supposed to be having an Arctic, they've got a new name for it now. It used to be called an Arctic blast, or when I was growing up we called it cold weather. But now that we're in this era where you got to name everything. I can't remember the name. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, some kind of blast. But anyway, cold weather coming in. It is January, so that's not an odd thing to me to have cold weather in January. I don't know if that's odd to you guys. If it is, comment on that. But it's not odd to me. So anyway, I'm going to work on the chair here and share this view of the stove burning properly. Oh man, I'm feeling heat. Which of course the front of this shelter is open. I do have a tarp that if it gets too cold I can put the tarp down and block the front. But I like sitting here looking out. So I'm fixing to work on the chair a little bit. Share a funny story with you guys that happened this morning. One of my rabbits, she's developed some ear mite issue. And a friend of mine was telling me that he uses a horse wormer. It's a paste, and he said that it works very well to clear ear mites. So I went to find some, and of course it's out. At least what I was looking for. It was real cheap horse warmer. So I was talking to the guy at the feed store, and he raises rabbits. And I told him that I normally use WD-40, and he said that's what he used, and he also used PB Blaster. So I just picked up a sack of corn and headed on out back to the house, and I got home and had a little bit of breakfast, and I got a can of that WD-40, and I went up to where my rabbits are, and this doe, she did not want me to pick her up. I grabbed her, and she went to screaming like she was being murdered, and she was running around the inside of the cage, and I couldn't get a good hold on her. And finally she just turns, and she's like backed up, and the only thing that was missing was her pulling a knife on me. And then she lunged at me a couple of times, but fortunately I had on long sleeves. And anytime you handle rabbits, general rule of thumb here, wear long sleeves and probably gloves. She was trying to bite me, and man, she was screaming. So I finally was able to get her out, and she's kicking and she caught me right there, which, that's not that bad as what I had. Man, when I was younger, my dad had rabbits. We would pick those rabbits up, man, they'd kick and scratch, and your arm would look like you'd been attacked by something like a rabbit. Anyway, she was screaming, and I finally got her down to the ground, and then Skipper shows up, my little crazy Jack Russell Terrier mixed breed with, I think it's Rat Terrier. He shows up, and he's trying to grab her as I've got her on the ground, trying to calm her down. And I thought she died on me because she just got real limp. And checked on her, she was still alive, but she just finally just relaxed. And I was able to spray her ears with a WD-40. And when I picked her up, she was like a dish rag, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this rabbit, I'm going to give her a heart attack. But I got her back in the cage, and she sat there. But man, that was a traumatic experience, not only for her, but for me. I've had rabbits not wanting to be picked up, but man, I'm hoping she's going to get better about that. And I hope that when I go to breed them here with my buck, that they're going to take and then have babies and actually take care of the babies. Because both of my does did not take care of their babies, and I lost both litters. But anyway, thought I'd share that with you guys. Because she was, if that had been on film, that would have been, because it was kind of traumatic. I walked back in the house and I said, well, that was a very traumatic experience. I think that's what I told my wife. That rabbit, she was not having any of it. But anyway, I got her ear sprayed, and I'm hoping, well, I know it will, because rabbits I had in the past that developed ear mites, a WD-40 knocks it right out. All right, I'm at another stopping point on my chair, but this is what it's looking like so far. That is definitely rustic looking. I've got to create the tenon and wedge for these pieces. I've already got these pieces cut. And I got to figure out how I'm going to make those wedges. I'm going to make some pine pitch and use it for glue to give it that extra security. So that's a little update on the chair so far. Kind of got slower as I started having to do some of that carving on those tenons. But it's coming along. I have been jumping a big rabbit up down here in this little woodlot. And I've actually tried to get him a couple of times with my air rifle with no success. He's a big rabbit. We call them cane cutters around here. They're bigger than the cottontails. We have both. They're not hares, they're rabbits. Which there is a difference. He is a big one. I'd like to get him because he would be good to eat. I think he's figured me out. A lot of times they'll let you walk right up on them and then they'll bust out running. Alright, I have not jumped him. But I'd like to jump him and get him and show him to you guys. Or jump him and run off and show him, hopefully catch him on camera. He's a big old thing. Figured when not walking here with my air rifle, I would see him. I jumped him one day and he stopped like 2 feet from me and just sat there and looked at me. Thought about throwing my knife at him. I didn't want to do that. So, I don't know. Maybe he's moved on to other parts, knowing that I want to eat him. Well, I hope everyone has a good day. It's cloudy, cold, and the wind has really picked up today here. I think the cold weather is set in for a few days. It's a little bit below normal for us now. What was that? Nothing. Heard something. All right. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you the next time. Appreciate everyone. Thank you.